how to get clients for your freelancing business, how to really make a sustainable income, a six-figure income or more by freelancing. I've been running my agency, my marketing agency for last, I would say, decade now, 10 years. Most of my services that I sell on Fiverr, and my Fiverr profile still brings me around, on average, $30,000 per month. This is a lot of income, of course. Of course, there are expenses as well. It's not just 30,000 in my pocket. We actually had summer, it was more, it was like 44,000. Now we're a bit, we had a bit decrease. Besides that, I also have other income streams that are smaller for now. I also have clients that I work directly as well, that I offer similar service that I offer on Fiverr. And I also run a SaaS business for freelancers, for Fiverr sellers, especially a CRM platform. We're launching some new exciting feature now. So I wanted to talk about this, like going in 2026, what you should do to succeed as a freelancer. Probably you've been already freelancing for a while, you've been maybe successful, maybe you have a team as well, right? Maybe you're just starting out and you want to know what to do. So the first thing I want to suggest you is to really think in depth about the service you're going to offer. Because the problem here that I found is that when you offer a service that can be kind of easy replaceable, let's say someone can just find it cheaper or like easy replace you. For example, let's say I'm offering social media content services, so I'm creating social media content. I have a team, designers, they create content in Canva, I share it with the client, right? This is not a very complicated service, so essentially the client can easily find someone cheaper because it's not very complex. Creating posts in Canva, static posts, it's not something very, very hard to do, right? So that's why it's hard to retain the client, because first of all, I'm facing two issues. The first issue is that these posts that we are creating might not bring like significant results in the short term, right? Because they are more not necessary for leads or sales, but they're more for like a branding, building a brand, building a great, for example, aesthetic looking profile. So then when the client is going to be running ads or anything like that, it's going to convert into potentially good leads, right? But it's not really a performance-based service. So that's the problem here. The second thing is, yes, as this service is not very technical speaking. So for example, let's say we will take a service where you have to build some sort of automation for some e-commerce brand, right? Let's say they have a lot of volume of sales, and you need to come up with some automation, some sort of a technical solution to make the e-commerce more efficient, to help them with fulfilling faster, to have some great system, right? This is a different one, because now, first of all, it's hard to it's maybe harder to get these types of jobs at first, because you need to build like a trust, you need to build some reputation, because the client is going to be sharing a lot of like sensitive, important data with you, which is, which is, of course, they need to have some trust before. And, but as soon as you get a client like this, and you do a good job for this client will not really want to look for someone else unless you do something bad, because these types of jobs, what makes a long-term relationship between you and the client, because the client will like probably what you have done, like maybe some automation, small thing. And then the client will be like, okay, let's do something more. Can you actually help with maybe a backend solution? Can you help with this? Can you help with that? So it becomes, like a more sustainable for you. So this is something that you first of all should think about. Offering a service which can be harder to replace you and potentially can develop a long-term relationship with the client. So for example, another example here is the Instagram growth service. I think this service is a bit more complex because it's harder to do this service, just for anyone easily. So it involves some sort of, knowledge about the limits, about things, how you do it, the systems and everything. So it's a little bit more complicated, but it still can provide, it's more complicated, but it is more performance based as well. So we are growing the client's Instagram accounts. So it's it's giving them the growth. When they see the growth, the clients are always going to be like, okay, this is great, like we're growing, we're getting more people, maybe these people will convert to the clients. Like it's already giving them a lot of hope, so they're more willing to stay longer. And of course, for me, the other path to long-term relationship is potentially offering more options. Like for example, maybe they have let's say LinkedIn profile, and I can also work on their LinkedIn profile. Maybe they have other things, so that allows me to also build those long-term relationships. So you have to remember those things, very, very important, because if you're offering something small, like let's say, like let's say something like a thumbnail designer, it's, again, first of all, AI is coming. Probably some people can just use the platforms like the YouTube platforms, like you have vidIQ, 1 of 10, right? These are like the platforms that you can use for YouTube for the thumbnails. The AI can do a decent job right now, and it will do a better job eventually. So this is something not you should maybe look for. And of course, there's always going to be people who can do it cheaper. When you offer something more complex, there is no really, okay, there's always price. The decision factor is always the price. But still, like if it's a serious business, they're not going to be like, kind of trying to save, because they don't want to waste their time. They know that probably in the past they already tried to pay someone less and maybe the results were not satisfactory. So they will be more comfortable with paying a higher prices for that. So, and for me, to be honest, the second kind of like, let's say, besides all of that, the second thing you should also think about is how are you going to be attracting these clients, right? So the first thing, of course, we know the service, we can do it, you can work on it, you can teach, learn the skill. And the second thing is where we will actually get those clients. The first thing you have, and it's always, you have those freelancing platforms, Upwork, you have Fiverr. These are platforms that you can get clients. Like for me, for example, I have clients from Fiverr. Every day I get like leads from Fiverr. I have messages from Fiverr, So I'm getting maybe 5 to 10 new orders just coming from Fiverr. This is amazing, right? And this is because of my reputation on the platform. This is because of the reviews. This is because of the status on the Fiverr itself. So it's incredible. And that's one thing. But in order to get successful on Fiverr, you have to, first of all, you have to be patient. It's not going to happen in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. You have to kind of like accept that this is not going to be like, easy way for me. Like it probably will take maybe even a year, to get some clients and some sustainable income from Fiverr. But you have to be ready for it. You have to be very serious about it. The second option, you have Upwork. Upwork is a little bit different because you are trying to bid, use these connects that Upwork has, and you're trying to get these jobs from Upwork. This is something similar as doing like a cold email outreach, right? You can use a platform like Instantly. You probably heard about this platform. It's been viral. If you didn't hear about this platform, you can just Google Instantly and you will see. Essentially, it's it's an email marketing platform. You can send those cold emails on this platform, and again, it works, it's great, but you have to spend your time to get clients, right? So you have to spend your time, send those emails. You need to constantly reach to those to those clients. So it can be frustrating. I will tell you that it can be very frustrating because with Upwork, the same, you have to bid, you have to like write those proposals, but you might not win anything, right? So I think it's definitely not sustainable in the long term. Like you can't just, it will be very hard, at least at the beginning. So that's why if you get a job on Upwork and your service is actually something that hard to replace or, find someone easily, you will get this client who will probably stay with you for a few months, right? This client will probably order something small, and then this client can start paying you more as well. So it becomes more sustainable for you. So that's a good path to succeed on Upwork, because the client will be paying you again and again and again. You will build this, reviews, reputation, everything, right? So this is very good strategy. But the other things, you should also think about what else can provide you results besides the freelancing platforms, right? And one of the ways that I know it might sound maybe obvious or not, but it's actually setting up like a system, like a YouTube channel, you know, because when you have a YouTube channel, I can also speak for my results. You know, I'm getting, like, you guys are watching this, you guys are, you know, maybe, let's say, you know, like, you're spending maybe like a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes on this video, and you watch it, and maybe some things are making sense. You're like, oh, okay, I actually want to work with Vasily, you know, he's saying good things. So this is a great way to also track clients. Like, you can be authentic, you can be sharing some value, some educational stuff, and then the clients will be interested to work with you because they like what you're saying. So I really think that this is something that can be very, very good. And this is something that can bring you those, you know, like, the system can work for you. That's the most important thing, because you don't want to, you know, spend, let's say, for example, during the day, you can be productive for a certain number of hours, let's say 4 hours or 5 hours, right? I mean, you can work all day, but, you know, realistically speaking, you will not be productive for, like, you know, so many hours, right? Let's say you have 4 productive hours that you can put every single day. And if you're spending out of those 4 hours, 2 hours into just outreaching constantly and sending those, you know, connects and emails and other bunch of things, you just don't have enough time to also work on the projects, and you don't have enough time to do anything else, to be honest, right? So the solutions here is that as soon as you reach some level of revenue, you want to hire someone who can do the fulfilling tasks, you know, maybe a small task, like something very, very small at the beginning. And then you can hire someone who can do higher tasks, which is like, you know, project management, which is like, you know, responsible for communications, for other things, like, and of course you have to pay more for that, but that will save you, again, maybe time from managing the communication with clients, for outreach, you know, something like that. So again, you cannot stay always in one kind of level. You know, you have to be always like, okay, I'm growing, I'm scaling, I need to build a better system. I'm losing clients, I need to downsize my team, I need to downsize my expense. You have to be always, it's like it's all the time, you know, it's never going to be the same. You have to be always kind of adjusting based on your business situation, revenue situation. So that's the kind of the whole point of I went a little bit off the topic, but that's the whole point of having this, you know, a good system in place. So yeah, and you know, I think YouTube is great. It's very important because, you know, like, you can be, and the same goes for Instagram, for TikTok, for LinkedIn, you know, like, I have this problem as well, where I'm thinking like, okay, what is my personal brand? What should I share more about? Should I talk about Fiverr? Should I talk about Instagram growth? Should I talk about freelancing? Should I talk about I don't know, my journey in tennis or in paddle, right? Because I'm also doing it I mean, I've been playing tennis professionally, but I started to playing more like more paddle right now, and I really enjoy it. I mean, it really helps me to, you know, kind of stay fresh with the business as well, and just, you know, my head is more kind of you know, I think it's good for mental health, to be honest. So, but again, like, because I also want to share some stuff about that. But of course, you have to understand that, you know, if anything that relates to you, like to your personal brand, to your business, it can stay within your profile, right? You know, you can talk about anything that is, you know, around your business. Of course, if you're talking something about like completely different, let's say, like for me, paddle, like, probably doesn't make sense too much to talk on the same channel about my paddle. It's better to make a separate channel because it's like completely different audience and completely different, you know, maybe direction. But still, you know, like, it's everything that is around you. It's everything that you have. And you know, I'm seeing on Instagram, for example, you have this feature, which is trial reels. You can share like reels and you can just practice yourself. You know, for example, I started to do this on this channel, those profile reviews on Fiverr. I just record like a 3-minute short and share the tips how to grow on Fiverr, review the profile of a freelancer, and those are getting a good views, like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. You know, it's really getting some traction. This is a very positive sign. And you know, it's like you're just doing it because you have to be very, very consistent, like everyone says. But it's true, because you'll not not all of your content will work well, right? But once the content works, once it gets this like virality, that's the game changer. You know, like one video can just go viral, and this video can bring you the leads, the sales, the everything, connections, partnerships, and other things, right? That's why it's so important to just keep doing, keep trying, keeping it simple, sharing your thoughts, sharing your opinions, and essentially it goes there, you know, like it goes viral. So yeah, I think again 2026 is going to be an interesting year for me as well, but I highly encourage you to think about this more. Think about your service, think about your systems, think about your team as well, you know, like the management, like what have you done this year, for example, compared to the 2024, and what do you want to do in the next year in 2026? Because if you don't change anything, probably things will be more or less the same, maybe worse, because of course, let's say if you're on Fiverr and you're doing everything the same, if Fiverr is not going to be pushing your gig anymore, that means you're not going to get more clients, right? So you'll probably have less clients, so you'll be losing revenue, right? So it's important to think about these things. And again, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to write in the comments what do you think as well about it. Thank you so much for your as well your support, your time watching this channel, and let's keep it productive. I'll do my best to continue sharing some, you know, findings, some thoughts that I have. Hopefully this opens up some more ideas for you, and see you in the next video.